Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Control or Be Controlled podcast designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And I remain your host, Darlington. Our guest today is Yossi Kosowski. Our guest today is a seasoned executive coach with over 19 years of experience and a background as a chief technology officer and senior director of talent management. Our guest today specializes in leadership development, personal growth, and effective communication, leveraging neuroscience and organizational development principles. Our guest today has helped leaders across the globe navigate complex challenges, build high-performing teams, and drive meaningful change. Yossi, welcome to the show.
Really happy to be here, Darlington. Thank you for having me today.
All right, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that introduction.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So just a little bit, maybe how has your background, let the audience know how you got to arrive at where you are right now. How has your background gotten you teaching about leadership?
So it was a long, unexpected journey, honestly. I started off my career in IT and then briefly had a role in sales and then moved into an engineering role. And throughout my career, at different times, I had received some feedback that my people skills were not great. And eventually they would probably hold me back from future growth opportunities. Honestly, as I was really focused on being an engineer, I didn't find that those were impacting my success, my job. And so I didn't really focus on them. But in the mid 2000s, they became, I got to the place in my career where I was looking for growth opportunities that would lead to more people management leadership work. And as I looked to address the feedback, not being a great listener, being a bit command and control, not really having the internal process for considering feedback and other people's input effectively. And therefore, that would help people feel that they were contributing and that they were valued. And so as I started to try to solve for this, I took some leadership workshops and I read a number of books, and I kept on struggling to apply the skills that I was learning about into behavioral practices. And as I was talking to some people in my personal life around these challenges, someone suggested that I look into a workshop on emotional wellness therapy. And this process that I started to learn in this program really taught me a lot about myself at a very different level than I had been used to as an engineer. It taught me about my emotions and really how to recognize the nuance of my emotions, to understand where they were coming from, meaning the triggers and other effects, both positive and let's say negative, of my triggers, and understanding what's helped me be successful and what was derailing me from being successful. And as I was learning these skills about myself and then found that I was able to also apply and help them to others, I started seeing really amazing changes, both in myself and in the people that I was supporting. Along the way, I also was very interested in the role of the brain on decision making and how we also make sense of the world and why so many people see the world differently than one another. And that led me to study behavioral neuroscience. And between the two of them, my worldview seriously changed and allowed me to have a deeper insight into human behavior and what we could do to actually change it. And so as I started sharing that with other people, it led into coaching. And that helped me improve my leadership skills And ultimately, I made the career change into leadership development work and outside of engineering.
All right. You see, that's wonderful. I love to have a bit of background so people can understand how this all came about. So you spent decades as both an executive and executive coach. So what lessons from the boardroom have shaped the way you coach leaders today?
So the one of the biggest challenges, Darlington, that I find is we live in a world of assumptions and unspoken expectations. And we can often detect when we're in that space because we use the word should when we're talking about other people. They should know what to do, they should have done this, etc. And what I find in often happening in the workplace is we operate in a deep belief that other people innately understand us and are on the same page as us, when really those are our assumptions. And um, they're wrong. They're wrong most of the time, that we're not on the same page. We don't see it the same way. We don't understand it the same way. We don't have the same point of view. We're not going in the same direction. And it leads to a lot of frustration. It leads to a lot of conflict and friction. And it leads to a real slowdown in the work product, which makes things very messy at work.
Okay. You see, I'm just wondering, talking about the boardroom. The boardroom is where most people have never been part of.
Oh,
Most aspiring
that's
leaders,
true.
except you're a leader. And most people are scared of the boardroom. So why do you think people are scared of boardrooms?
I don't really know. I think that it's more around lack of exposure and experience. And so there's the unknown element to it. There's also the hierarchical nature to it. It's amazing. I've watched this happen over and over again, Darlington, where somebody gets promoted, and when they get to certain senior or executive levels, people all of a sudden become weary of those people or scared around them, even because of their new title and their new position. They're the same person. They're the same human being they were the day before they got the promotion and the title. Um, but there's something that I find in many people's mindsets, that the title and the position we hold comes with a level of discomfort. And so often we think of people who sit in the boardroom as the executives, or the um, those who are overseeing the executives, and they have a tremendous amount of influence and even power in the organization. And I think that that is what leads to a lot of the nervousness. Um, I'll be honest with you. I have found in some boardrooms that the board members play, either intentionally or unintentionally, play into these paradigms and try to be or act impatient and demanding. So I don't know if they were naturally that way, but I don't really know a lot of the people that I've met in the boardroom before they were in that position. But I do find it. I think that those are the reasons that I work with.
Okay. Thank you so much. You see, just wanted to also talk about that. So tell us the biggest leadership mistakes that you see talented professionals make as they move into management.
One of the biggest mistakes. It's not a mistake. It's just a behavioral change challenge. The further we move up in the authority chain, the work that we do, that we're responsible for, changes. And we start our career, most people start their career as the doers of the work. We're the hands-on people, whether it's in finance or manufacturing or technology, medicine. We are the hands-on people, the frontline workers. As we start to get promoted and we get an added responsibility to be managers, which means that we are ensuring that the people who are reporting to us are getting their work done. That takes a lot of time. And if your mindset is around only my hands-on work equals doing the work, then when I am not having the chance to do my hands-on, essentially getting other people to do their work, it feels like I'm not doing anything. It feels like I'm not doing my work. And that's a real, I find this to be a real challenging mindset shift for many leaders as they move up, that they get further and further away from the hands-on work. The analogy that I use to describe this often is, where are you in the car? You start off and you're learning to drive. And then you spend many years being a driver. You may be driving bigger and bigger vehicles, but you start off really being the driver. And then all of a sudden you start to get promoted into management, and you have to get out of the driver's seat and let somebody else or other people be the drivers. And I often find leaders become backseat drivers, where they can't really let go of that control. And the higher up we go, the further away we are from the steering wheel. And therefore, we have to really rely on influence. And I find that to be one of the biggest challenges.
Okay. So I think most leaders feel that for them to show that they are a leader, they need to be a backseat driver. Most of the times, they feel like giving authority to people while not being doing the work makes them a leader. So why do you think that is the case? Why do they have to move from being a driver to being a backseat driver? What causes that?
How many cars can you drive, Darlington, at one time?
Just one.
Just one, right? So if you're the driver, the only thing that you're getting done is what you're driving. If you're managing a bunch of people, you need a lot of cars being driven at the same time. And because we don't have the ability to drive more than one car at the same time, we need to essentially ensure that the other people are driving their cars in the way that we need them to. And if I'm driving my car while trying to make sure other people are driving their car, that's a very hard task to do. So what managers need to do is stop being in the driver's seat so that they can coordinate all of the drivers to be doing the things that they need to do together. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, Yossi. That answers my question. So, how can leaders create psychological safe environments where people feel comfortable speaking up? Because I've seen cases whereby people have a lot of things to say, but they find it difficult to say it.
There's a lot of things here, honestly. The simple, short answer that is more about what and not how is trusting people and behaving and responding in a way that doesn't make people feel put down or scared or micromanaged. Practically speaking, the first challenge I find often when working with people on psychological safety is, what is it? How would one describe psychological safety? And is their description of psychological safety the same as the people that they're working with? Meaning, do we describe it the same way? Do we mean the same thing by it? And I'll give you an example. Darlington, do you drive a car?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So do you feel safe driving on the road, generally speaking?
Yeah, most times, not every time. Sometimes, depending on how others are driving.
Yeah. Okay. So how often do you know the other drivers on the road?
Ha- There's no way I can know the other drivers.
Okay. But yet you're in a car, which can be dangerous, and they're in cars or motorcycles, which can be dangerous, and you don't know them, but yet You're relying on them not to hurt you.
Sure.
Okay. Would you call that a form of trust?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's interesting is you're displaying active trust to people you don't know, that if they, for some reason, don't follow your assumptions, you're going to get in trouble. You may get hurt. But yet we operate this way. And even for people that don't drive cars, if we walk on the street and we're crossing a street, we're assuming that people will see us and stop and not hit us. And we don't know those people. And so the other challenge is not only defining psychological safety, but defining what trust means for our environment. Are we dealing with trust that we'll call, let's say, transactional trust? Meaning, I don't know you enough to trust you, but I'm going to trust that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, which is what we have on the road. Or are we going to find a way to build relationship-based trust? Which is, I think, the trust that we most often think of when we use this word, which is, I know you well enough that I have faith that you're going to do not only what you say that you're going to do, but that we're going to be able to talk about it. We're going to be able to work through it. You're going to let me know when things are having a problem and going on. And I think that part of what we face, and again, I coach on this a lot, is that individual people on a team don't all share the same definition, and therefore they act differently in response to that word. So those would be the first things, is to really get a shared definition, a shared meaning, and a shared understanding. The next thing, and again, there's really a lot of work here, is to discuss with the team how do these, let's say, values of trust and psychological safety turn into our behaviors. How are we going to display these to each other and hold each other accountable for behaving in this way? So those would be the starting points.
All right. Thank you so much, AC. That example was very, very explanatory. I think very, very easy to understand how we walk on the road, trust other people, how we drive our cars as well. Trust. So, you have worked extensively with issues around gender, race, and cultural diversity. Tell us what separates organizations that genuinely build inclusive cultures from those that simply talk about it.
Building an environment that recognizes, values, and actively supports diversity is ones that really focus on first building self-awareness. So let me ask you, Gar Darlington, because I've done this a couple of times. What does self-awareness mean to you?
I think being aware of where I am at the particular moment and what other people are doing at that moment. Being aware of other people and being aware of myself.
Being aware of other people and yourself. Thank you.
So,
That's great.
yeah.
Yep. Go on. Were you going to add to that, Darlington? Okay. So I'm going to add to that is also the understanding of how I respond and react to my emotions. Can you imagine working for somebody who every time they get frustrated starts yelling at everybody around them? What that would be like to work for that person? It would be terrible, right? Yes. So for us to work well with other people, in your definition of self-awareness, right, being aware of other people, is really being aware that they are other than me. They are not necessarily the same as me. They don't necessarily think the same, feel the same, process information the same way, handle challenges the same way. There's a lot of differences here. And the more that we really understand that people are different in those ways, then my expectation, hopefully, of how they are going to act, behave, process information will be aligned with understanding that they are different than me. Then is a self-awareness piece, meaning the emotional self-awareness part, right? Which is understanding that when I feel something, it often leads to a reaction. And can I build like a pause or a space between what I feel and how I behave so that people feel safe around me? And then let's say that's getting to baseline. And then it's appreciating, meaning finding a value in the fact that you do think differently than me, that you do see the world differently than me, and seeking out your advice, seeking out your perspective, so that I get a richer set of data when I am thinking about something because I have more points of view. So that's what organizations do, is they start to really focus at that level to support diversity.
Thank you so much, AC. I love the way you are explaining, using illustrations to explain this. It makes it easier for the average person who might not know about leadership to understand. So you have coached leaders through major mindset shifts. Share with us one belief that holds high performance back, one belief that holds them back the most.
Sorry, darling, can you say that one more time? I think I missed some of the question.
You have coached leaders through major mindset shifts. Share with us one belief that holds high performing leaders back the most.
Um, there's a whole bunch. One is the imposter syndrome, that I'm not good enough, or I have this role by mistake. And when people are dealing with imposter syndrome, they often are always walking around feeling scared that somebody will find out that they're not really as good as other people expect them to be. Another mindset is that I am better than everybody else, and therefore I think I'm perfect and everybody else is the mistake and making the problems, and therefore there's no self-growth and there's no openness to feedback. There's also the mindset that we've talked about, which is when I talk, everybody naturally understands what I'm saying, which they don't, because we all see the world differently. Let's just stay with those. So those three mindsets are often derailers to success, because if I'm afraid that I'm not good enough, then I'm going to always be acting in a reactive way. If I think I'm amazing, then I'm not going to be open to feedback and open to growth and learning. And if I think everybody understands me, then I'm going to be operating with a lot of blame on everybody else, that the reason things are going wrong is because they're not listening or they're not smart enough, rather than the fact is that I just need to improve my communication skills.
Okay, thank you so much. See, if
Yeah, you're
someone
welcome.
listening right now wants to become a stronger leader starting today, what are the three practical habits they should begin practicing?
My favorite practical habit, I'm going to call it curiosity. And it's a mindset, Darlington. It's a mindset that I don't know how other people hear and interpret me when I'm talking. Okay. So, Darlington, if you operated with a mindset that by default, nobody would necessarily understand what you're saying in the way you're saying it, and nobody would necessarily interpret you the way you are hoping to be interpreted, and you therefore wanted to find out from others how they interpreted you, how they understood you, what would you need to start to do differently to find out how other people hear you and understand you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Josie. Thank you. This has been exciting. I really enjoyed having you on the show. So before you go, Josie, is there a question you wish I would have asked you that I did not ask you?
No, I think this was a great conversation. Thank you so much, Darlington.
All right, thank you so much. If you know this conversation challenged you the way you think about leadership, communication, and personal growth. Know where to share this episode. See, for those who want to connect with you, how can they do that?
The best way to connect with me is on LinkedIn. So if you can put my LinkedIn link into the show notes, that would be amazing. And people who go to my LinkedIn page to connect with me can also click on a button there that they can book a free 30-minute call with me. As I said, free, no expectation, just having a conversation, learning about each other, and seeing if there's anything we can do to help one another.
All right. Thank you so much. Once again, I appreciate you, you see. And I encourage my listeners, make sure to connect with you, see. Learn more about his coaching and his leadership development work. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow Control on Confront. Give us a review and share this episode with someone ready to become a more effective leader. Till next time, remember, if you don't take control of your mindset, your decisions, and your direction, something else will. Take care, guys. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys. Thank you.